Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Mawahib. As you guys can read by the title of today's video, I am going to be talking about cotton wigs. This is the second time I'm trying to film this video, so I hope that it turns out the way I like it. Honestly, the first time I filmed that, I just was not happy with it. I looked so tired. I just didn't look like I was, like I was my usual self, and I felt like I was just throwing information here and there. I wasn't very organized. So in today's video, I am committed and I am feeling so much better. I'm feeling much more awake, much more energized to film, and I also have all my information organized just the way I like. So anyway, I would love for you guys to click on that subscribe button down below to support me and my channel. I'd love for you guys to also let me know what videos you'd like to see from me in the future. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on so you guys can get notified every time I post, and of course give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is just general information about wigs. I have my notes right in front of me on my phone. So in general, there are two types of wigs that are out there. There's a cotton wig and there's a wooden wig. We're going to be talking about wooden wigs in a whole another video, so today let's just focus on cotton wigs. Cotton wigs do come in various types or series and sizes. So what I mean by types or series, if you go to the wig category on your candle supplier's website, you will see there are different wig series or types. So for example, Eco is a wig series, Stabilo is a wig series, LX is a wig series, TCR, CL, and many more other wigs. And they also come in different sizes, and that is because there are different size candle containers out there. So for example, in the Eco wig series, the smallest wig that you can get is a 0.05, and the largest wig that you can get, I think it's an Eco 26. I'll pop the actual number on the screen so you guys can know what is the biggest and what is the smallest. And the same thing goes for every other wig series like the TCR and LX. They always range from smallest to largest. So for example, if you have a 30 centiliter candle container, which looks like so, can come in a clear glass or a colored glass or whatever favorite glasses that you guys like to use. If you would like to know, for example, what type of wig that is appropriate for your 30 centiliter candle container, what you would do is you would measure the diameter of your candle container and you go into your supplier's website and you see which wig is appropriate for your candle container. I'm going to show you a screenshot or a little clip on where you can find that information. But as you guys can see, it says Eco, and then on next to it says the diameter in inches. So all you need to do is just measure your diameter of your candle container and then pick the wig that you would like to buy essentially for your chosen candle container. But it's not always accurate. If you guys realize, every candle supplier will always refer back to your own trial and error and your own testing. I would say buy every sized wig honestly in your chosen series, because that's what I do. I buy all the sizes just so I don't have to keep going back and forth if one wig doesn't work out and then I have to go and buy another one. So I just buy it all at once, so it saves me time and money honestly. Here you have the 30 centiliter candle container, and let's say the supplier recommends you an Eco 8. So you try the Eco 8, and if that doesn't work out, then you wig up or you wig down according to your results. If you have, for example, a smaller candle container just like so, this is the 9 centiliter candle container. I normally use an Eco 0.75 or an Eco 1 wig. They both work fine. So the reason why wigs do come in different wig series and different sizes, because it has to complement your candle container, your wax, and your fragrance oil, which is super important, and that will go down to your try and error. You will try different wig series when you're in your candle making journey. You're going to try different wig sizes in order to find the perfect wig that matches your candle container, your wax, and your fragrances. So moving on, I would love to talk about when your wig is too big or too small. So like I mentioned with my 30 centiliter earlier, that for example, if you use an Eco 8, it might be too small for your candle container, and when your wick is too small, what will happen is your candle starts to tunnel. So as you guys can see from the clip right now, the wick is really struggling to burn all that wax that's around the diameter of the candle container. So what happens is your wick will start to tunnel. So if your wick is too small, the solution to that is to wick to the next size up, and if that doesn't work, then you go up again, and so on and so forth. It is a lot of testing, and I understand that the information can be slightly overwhelming, especially for those of you that are starting out, but don't worry, you'll get the hang of it in no time, and you will find the perfect wig for your candle container, your wax, and your fragrance oil. On the other hand, I want to talk about when your wig is too big. So let's say you used an Eco 14 for your 30 centiliter candle container, and that wick was too big. So what happens is your candle is going to burn through way too fast. So the solution to that is to wick to the next wick down, and I believe it's Eco 12 or Eco 10. One of them, I believe it's Eco 12. But the point is, you'll wick down if your wick is too big, and you'll wick up if your wick is too small. So that is basically the basics to know about wicks. How would you know if your wick is too big or too small? So if your wick is too small, your candle will start to tunnel like I showed you earlier. The wick will actually get drowned in the melt pool, so it would just put itself off, and it would also not give off a good hot throw. So it would be really struggling to burn that wax to give you a good melt pool to release that hot throw. These are signs that your wick will give you if it's too small. If your wick is too big, it will also give you some signs, and the main signs is a consistent flickering flame. Sometimes your flame can go really high. The third thing is you'll get a lot of mushrooming, and the mushrooming is not like small mushrooming, huge mushrooming the size of peas, and you do not want that in your wick. That is a sign that your wick is too big. And another sign your wick will give you when your wick is too big is you have really bad post-burn results, as you guys can see in the clip right now. And lastly, you will burn through that candle super fast when your wick is too big. So these are just general information that you need to know about how would you know if your wick is too big or too small. So since we're talking about my 30 centiliter here, I do get a few DMs and few questions about wicking the 30 centiliter. I have a few of you saying that when you wick up or wick down in your 30 centiliter, it's not giving you the results that you want to, and honestly I can relate. When I wick up, for example, in my 30 centiliter, the wick is way too big, and if I wick down, obviously my candle tunnels. What I've been doing with my 30 centiliter is I've been double wicking. Honestly, it worked so good for me. I love the results of double wicking, so that's what I've been doing ever since. If you guys remember or look back at my burn testing videos, I always used to say my wick is mushrooming, my flame is too high at my first hour burn. It's not something that I want for my candle. After I've been double wicking, I have not experienced any mushrooming on my first hour burn. I have not experienced any high flames. My candle's not burning as fast, and I've just had really good results. So I do recommend that you guys try double wicking and see if that works for you if you're having similar problems like myself. The next topic that I want to talk about here is how do you know if you have the right wick? What essentially you are looking for in your wick is you want little to no flickering. You don't want a flicker that's going back and forth or a flame that's going really high. That's when you know that your wick is too big. Another result to look out for if you have the right wick is you'll be having a really good hot throw, a hot throw that fills up a room, a hot throw that fills up the space that your candle is burning in. That is a really good wick. And thirdly, you'll have little to no mushrooming. Now I know some wicks mushroom, it's just very normal, but you do not want mushrooming that's so huge and so visible at your wick, because that's not then the right wick for your candle. So you want little to no mushrooming. The further your candle burns, the hotter your candle container. So even if you're probably gonna get a slight mushrooming probably halfway through your candle or at the end of your candle, which is fine, but as long as it's not a huge pea-sized mushrooming, that's not what you want in your wick. Honestly, ever since I've been dealing with double wicking, and ever since I started measuring my fragrance and wax correctly, I haven't had any mushrooming so far, unless obviously if my wick is too big. When I'm finding, for example, the right wick, I haven't had any mushrooming so far, and even if it does happen, it's super small, you can barely see it, and that's fine. And lastly, your candle will burn beautifully, consistently and smoothly. So you want a candle that burns through around the diameter of your candle container. If your candle is burning through and you have a slight wax left over on the sides of your container, that's fine. Like I mentioned earlier, the further your candle gets, the hotter the candle container, so that small extra wax that may be left on the sides of your container will end up melting anyway, and it will actually increase your burn time in your candles. So you do want a very consistent and smooth, as well as a slow burning candle, because every customer and even myself, I love a slow burning candle, a candle that would last me a while. So to conclude, the 4 results that I've mentioned to know if you have the right wick is little to no flickering flame. Your candle will burn slowly, smoothly and consistently. Thirdly, you'll have a little to no mushrooming, and fourthly, you'll have a really good hot throw. So I just want to mention something actually about hot throw. When I mentioned in my videos, oh, my hot throw is a 10 out of 10 or my hot throw is an 8 out of 10, I just want you guys to kind of understand that, for example, a 10 out of 10 hot throw for me may not be as strong for someone else. Maybe it's like, oh no, but a 10 out of 10 hot throw for me is like a 5 out of 10 for someone else. As long as we're honest in our testing and you do feel like that candle is filling up the space and the room that you're burning it in, so that is a good hot throw. Now I want to talk about wax and wicks. As we all know, there are many types of wick series, and there are many different waxes out there on the market. Not every wick will work with your wax. So after you've picked your wax and your wick and your fragrance oil and your candle container, now you want to test your wick. So for example, the Eco Wick work well with a paraffin wax and natural waxes. TCR wicks work with natural waxes. LX wicks, Stabilo wicks work well with paraffin waxes. So depending on what wax you're using, you're gonna have to match that wick to your wax. So for example, if you are using a natural wax, then do go with the TCR wicks or Eco wicks and see if there's any other wick series apart from the two that I mentioned that go with natural waxes. And they also have to work well with your fragrance oil and your candle container, of course, as you test your candles. I know it sounds overwhelming, especially if you're just, you know, starting out and you're just watching this video right now. I know it sounds overwhelming, but honestly, testing, trial and error is key with candle making. Here I am, guys. When I first started candle making, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be super easy. I'm just gonna pick my favorite fragrance, a gorgeous candle container, a wick, a wax, and then I'll be fine. Little did I know, guys, little did I know that's a whole process and a whole journey of trial and error, of writing notes down, of seeing your candle container is safe enough to burn, to seeing if my wick is working well with the wax and fragrance oil, to see if my wick is good, to see if my wick is small or too big. Basically, it's just all goes down to your testing. So my first choice actually for natural waxes is an Eco Wick and TCR wicks. Eco Wick and TCR are actually my two favorite wicks to work with when I'm working with natural waxes. I have been using CL wicks recently as well with natural waxes. I've actually been loving the results for it as well. So I've given myself some room and some options for different type of wicks for my candle waxes. For reference, I do use natural waxes, just in case you guys are wondering what type of waxes I use. It is natural. When I first started candle making, honestly, I bought like a whole lot of 464 because that was the first wax that was introduced to me. But now that I figured out there's other waxes on the market and I started kind of exploring and experimenting. Anyway, guys, I rambled there for a bit. Let me move on. There are also some additional information that you might want to have a look at when it comes down to the wicks. So this part of the video, the information that I'm about to share here is from a blog called the Armitage Candle Company. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. I just thought I'd reference that part of the video because it's not my work. So even though all wicks are cotton wicks, but you can also find wicks that are made from fiberglass or natural fibers. There are also braid design wicks, which are also wicks that are woven in a specific or special pattern which affects the burn behavior of the wick. Some wicks also come with wax coating, and the most common coating is paraffin, and the reason why, it just adds structure to the wick so that it stands up straight in a melt pot and it makes it easier to light. Some wicks come with coating and some doesn't. I am going to reference the blog in the description box down below if you guys want to read further. So the example that I used before is an Eco Wick. I want to share with you guys some information about it. Eco Wick is a pre-waxed wick with vegetable wax and are fitted with a 15mm metal sustainer. The wick is flat, coreless wick. It is made with pure cotton and thin paper filaments interlaced for a more stable and consistent burn. So that's just an example of an Eco Wick and some extra information that you might want to know about an Eco Wick. You can find more information about TCR wicks and all the other wicks that are out there in the market. If you go to your favorite candle supplier, they'll have all the information about in the product description. One tip I want to give you in this video actually is don't be afraid to let your candle be burning for more than 8 hours. That way you'd actually test how good your jug can handle heat. And don't forget, it's all about trial and error. I know sometimes it seems exhausting, and I know sometimes it seems like such a long journey. It will all be worth it at the end. I know you guys are gonna find the right wax that works for you. I know that you guys are gonna find the right wick. I know you guys are gonna come out with great brands and amazing candles, and I know that you're gonna come up with a product that you're gonna be 100% happy with. As long as you guys are doing the correct testing and you guys are being very honest in your testing process, then you will be just fine. I have no doubts in you whatsoever. That is everything that I want to share with you guys about cotton wicks. If you guys have any questions, or if you feel like I've missed out on anything, or if you want to add on to more than what I've just spoken about in this video, then please pop them in the comment section down below. As much as you guys learn from me, I learn so much from you, and I learn so much from your experiences, your challenges, and how you overcome them. So my comment section is always open for us to share our experiences, our lessons, our challenges, and also questions that you'd like to ask me that I can help with. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and you found it informative informative and valuable enough, please do click on that subscribe button down below to support me and my channel. Do give this video a huge thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on so you guys can get notified every time I post. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.